Welcome to Fun and Games Side Quests. Every episode is a different host sharing a video game they love and why they love it.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this episode of Side Quest. I am one of the hosts of Triangle Squared, a PlayStation podcast, where me and my co-host Brett talk about all manner of video games, including a long arc about the game I'm here to talk to you about today. But before that, I'm going to pitch myself and our show a little bit, or at least plug it. We're on all podcast services, Spotify, YouTube. We're on video on YouTube where you can see my beautiful face. We are on Patreon, patreon.com/Nartech. If you like what I say today, come listen to the show. It's pretty fun. Anyways, I will stop plugging and I will start chatting. Now, I am here to chat about a game that I have a storied history with in the lore of the show I do with Brett. It's not the only game that I have this type of lore with. I have this lore with The Outer Worlds, Red Dead Redemption 2, and of course, the topic of today's discussion, The Witcher 3. On a podcast talking about games that I love, you might be surprised to hear that all three of those games I didn't like at all. I had problems with The Outer Worlds. I thought it was bad Fallout. Turns out it's good Fallout. I had problems with Red Dead Redemption 2. I thought it was drawer opening simulator. It is drawer opening simulator, but it is also a tragic story that really just kept me captivated. And of course, The Witcher 3. Now, I have the longest history with The Witcher 3. I played it at launch on a crappy PC that me and a friend on mushrooms built. I had no idea how to build a PC, and I was being guided by a man who was seeing color. Or tasting color. That's funnier. He was tasting color. Pretend I said that. So that PC did not run very well. I eventually built another one, which is helping me record this that I'm talking to you on. It's a great computer. But the old computer did do one thing for me, and that was come with a copy of The Witcher 3 at launch with my 2070. Now, I played a lot of The Witcher 3 at that point. I would say about 50 hours. I could check GOG, but I don't want to edit that out. And I loved it. I had some issues, but the real problem with The Witcher 3 is that my PC or the cloud or God himself destroyed my save file. Now, this was about, like I said, about 50 hours into the game. I think I was in Novigrad looking for the Rat King and gone. All that time, all that effort, gone. That put the game on its back foot. Bad, 50-hour impression, I guess. Since that time, I'd put pockets of time in here or there. Nothing too crazy, but definitely gave it a chance. And every time I came away, meh. I'm good. This game sucks. And there's something funny. Everybody else was wrong about The Witcher 3. I was the only person in this world who was correct. The Witcher 3 was a bad game. It was a bad PRPG. It's a Polish RPG, by the way. Bad one of those. And everyone else in the world was wrong. And it turns out, believe it or not, in this instance, popular opinion was the correct one. And The Witcher 3 is a fantastic video game. I don't intend on using this platform to tell you something that you can watch in a Fextra Life video. It's got mechanics. There are swords, no shields. Crossbows are pretty cool. You could build into that. There's magic. This is all basic stuff. Also, the dude bathes and you decide between two very attractive women. Love stories, searching for your daughter, surrogate daughter, all of that kind of stuff. That is in The Witcher 3. But I think what I'm really looking to have a conversation about something a little more interesting. And that to me is time and place. I hope that by talking about The Witcher 3, maybe we can find a life lesson in here, yeah? Witcher 3 this time was an accident. I got bored. It was like 1 a.m, nothing I wanted to play. And I just decided, screw it. Let's see. Let's give this one a chance. And I think I stayed up for 4 more hours. It was very inappropriate for someone who works mornings. And I realized that I was enjoying myself. So, okay, I put it down, went to work, came back the next day, played more. And then suddenly I was at work thinking about The Witcher 3. And I wanted to know where to go and what I was going to do next and what would happen in Geralt's story. And it made me realize that for a third time, I was wrong in my initial impression. I was wrong about Red Dead and I was wrong about The Outer Worlds. quote that makes me laugh from our show. My co-host Brett said to me after I started playing this again, I love watching you prove yourself wrong over and over again. But the reality is that I was right in those moments. The times that I didn't like the Red Dead, I wasn't like lying. You know, if you listen to our show, it was a little bit put on because one of our buddies, Blake, who we had done an old show with, one of the running jokes and gags between us was how much I didn't like Red Dead. And he loves Red Dead, rightfully so. It's a fantastic video game. So my hatred for these games was not as extensive as you may think listening to those shows, but I have my issues with them. And every time I've gone back and really given it the old college try, you know, picked up the game from the bootstraps and got right to it, I ended up loving it and finding the space to enjoy it. I guess the mental I had the mental capacity to like something I hadn't before. And that was a really introspective moment for me because by the time I finished the game, it was an experience that now is revelatory for me. You know, I'm a writer, or at least I pretend to be in my spare time. And some of the things about Witcher 3 will always last with me. I will always chase the high of coming back to Velen. I might get names wrong in this. I haven't played it in a while. And quite frankly, every time I tried to write this, it came off sounding like an IGN review. And that's not what I want to have a conversation about. Because IGN already did their review. It was in like 2015. But going back there, and spoilers for the game too, by the way, I'm going to give you 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So going back and finding out that the Bloody Baron had killed himself after the result of whatever my result of what happened with his wife. I always free the kids. So bad things happen to the Bloody Baron's wife, and then the Bloody Baron kills himself. And I will always try and capture that moment. And even when I didn't like The Witcher 3, I had always maintained that that was a fabulous side quest. I still, to this day, one of the best of all time in video games. Skellige in itself, when you deal with the family conflict and the warring clans, then there's an assassination attempt and you're doing Batman Arkham Asylum investigative work. It's hard to capture in words seeing something that changes the way you look at fiction that you may never have seen had you not tried again. I don't know if that makes a ton of sense to anybody else. I hope it does, because I think the main takeaway from this is, like I said, a little bit philosophical, right? We're going into my Socrates bag, because what Witcher 3 told me as a gamer and as a person is that time and place is important for everything. What you feel today, you may not feel tomorrow. You know, I struggle with things in my life with weight issues and sometimes happiness, and all of us who live normal lives, we you know how it is out there, that prices are going up and it can be a struggle. But if you listen to this, what I want you to think about, and what I think about now, is the way I feel today isn't the way I'm going to feel tomorrow. Everyone knows that in their mind, but sometimes in the moment it's hard to get through it. And again, we're talking ostensibly about The Witcher 3, right? But the reason that The Witcher 3 ranks so highly for me is less about the game. The game is fantastic. Finishing that game, and one of my personal policies, you know, I don't live with my girlfriend. I see her once a week, so I don't play video games around her. And when I was at the end of The Witcher 3, she was coming over, and rather than go on a date or do something, I was like, babe, I'm almost done with this. I need to see how it ends. I would never have felt that way a year ago. I know I wouldn't have, because there's audio evidence of me on Triangle Squared saying how little I like that game, and it getting to a point where I had to tell my girlfriend, we ain't going nowhere until I see how Geralt's story ends. And then even in the little bit that she saw, having no connection and just watching, she could see how cool it was and how special it was. And I can only imagine how she would feel with the context of Geralt's story and what I'd gone through for 100 hours. I think it's a profound lesson that we can take away from small things. And for me, and I hope for you, that the profound lesson is to try again later. Today doesn't have to be the day that something changes for you, but tomorrow could be. It's with weight, right? For me, and just because I messed up in quotes and had McDonald's today doesn't mean that I can't get back on the horse tomorrow. And I never would have equated that to games. And I never thought that 3 examples of video games proving themselves to me as something that I would fall in love with is a really interesting outcome to the 3 of them. And especially to The Witcher 3, because that's gone from bottom barrel shit for me to this might be the best game I've ever played. It's not. Persona 5 Royal is, but it's close. I don't know. I hope you guys really you guys listen to this and you understand where I'm coming from on it. I implore anyone who hasn't played The Witcher 3 to play The Witcher 3. It's a fantastic game. I know that I didn't sit here and sell it to you, but I hope what I sold to you is to give something else a shot. Go fight Melania again. Give that weird visual novel another try. Go play The Witcher 3, despite how little you thought you liked it. I don't know, man. It was a really good thing for me to have those experiences. I will definitely talk mad shit about something else down the line, and I hope whatever that is, I end up loving it later. Anyway, that was why I love The Witcher 3, and I hope that you enjoyed listening to me go on this extended tangent about a 2015 video game. So again, I was Chris, one half of the episodes of Triangle Squared, patreon.com/Nartech, youtube.com/Nartech. Thank you guys for listening. Happy gaming.
Hello there! My name is Leo, and I'm here to tell you all about my Dune podcast, Gom Jabbar, the perfect podcast for new fans of Dune and longtime fans of Dune alike. My co-host Abu and I dive deep in both spoiler-free and spoiler-heavy episodes covering, Frank Herbert's original novels, the film adaptations, the board games, the comics, the upcoming video games, the HBO TV series, anything we can get our hands on. We even have a companion book club series to make your first or your 15th read-through even better. So, if you recently saw Denis Villeneuve's adaptation of Dune, or if you read Dune back when it came out in 1965, this is the podcast for you. You can find Gom Jabbar on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, pretty much anywhere you find your podcasts, and we hope you join us on the Golden Path.
CPOV. CertainPOV.com.